Welcome my friends back to Marvel Snap. The most complex list to play, bar none, is movement. How can you get a list together? What pool do you need to be in to really let the deck hit its stride? Let's break it all down. Now I love movement decks. They are so satisfying to be able to win with because you really feel like you outthought your opponent as you pilot the deck into victory. We have a Pool 2 list up here. I feel like the deck really needs to be in Pool 2 to hit its stride. Now you can run Heimdall in Pool 1 and he's good for some shock value. Psych your opponent out by allocating units off on the left, and then depending on where they play, you have the flexibility of potentially shifting your entire battle line. But it's in Pool 2 that you really get the cards that you want to be able to synergize engine pieces with movement activations. In Pool 3, we get a couple extra tools to be able to play with, but honestly, we don't get a lot better. So I think that movement peaks in terms of its competitiveness in Pool 2. So if you want to try out the movement list and you're in Pool 2, now is the time. Let's break down how this goes. Our headline card is Heimdall, opening up the Bifrost. On reveal, move your other cards one location to the left. This guy is able to come to the board with a huge burst of power, activating all of our movement engine pieces, hopefully also sliding cards into a location that the opponent was not prepared to be able to stop us with. So our engine pieces here are Vulture, gaining +5 when the Vulture himself moves. We have Multiple Man, copying himself to the previous location that he moved from, so another way to be able to distribute power. We'll talk in depth about how we empower Multiple Man here. We also have Craven. When a card moves to Craven's location, yours or an opponent's card doing the movement, then Craven will be gaining +2 power. Now the deck really pops off when Multiple Man is able to receive buffs, because then as he copies himself, he is making double use of these buffs. So we have the Forge to be able to give Multiple Man hopefully +2 power, and we also have the Hulkbuster to give that protecting wraparound hug, giving the +4 power to the Multiple Man. We could potentially be seeing a 7 to 9 strength Multiple Man copying himself around the board, which would be, that is the winning position for us to be in. Our dark technology here is running Nova and Killmonger. We get Killmonger here in Pool 2, able to destroy all 1-drops across both sides of the board. So we're able to leverage some control on the opponent, especially up against zoo lists, and we're able to pop our own Nova to distribute +1 buffs to our entire battle line, which if Multiple Man has copied himself a couple times, we can very reliably be filling up our entire board and make excellent use of this AoE buff. Our final engine piece is Angela, because she is actually very efficient when paired up with Iron Fist. We can play Iron Fist down and then another location to another card to Angela's location. Iron Fist will punch the card away, Angela will still get buffed, and then there will be an open space to land something else to Angela's location to help her continue scaling. A very spicy pick if you want to take a slightly alternate route is going to be to drop the Killmonger and the Nova, but then to run, well, honestly, you could keep the Nova and run Carnage if you were in Pool 2, but then you can also run Ebony Maw, if I could find him, to be able to showcase a 1/7 with the debilitating play restriction ongoing. You cannot play cards here. You can play him hopefully on left, because then you'll be able to slide extra cards into his location to help out with the movement abilities and be able to capitalize on this incredible stat line efficiency. The last cards in the list that bear mentioning are Iron Fist, Cloak, and Doctor Strange. All of these cards are ones that activate movement abilities. Let's dive into battle and see how she plays. We are on the Super Teddy account here to be able to have access to all of the Pool 2 cards, so we're looking at playing opponents that are at infinite rank and also have probably the complete collection. So we are trying to punch up here with this Pool 2 list. We'll see if we're able to pull it off. The opponent also has Nova? It would be insane to me if this is a mirror match. I am sure that it's not. So we have the deck list up above. You can always leave comments down below if you want to talk about card substitutions, deck optimization. I love talking everything Snap down there in the comments. We found the Multiple Man. Let's line up the Forge here, and then he'll be able to buff the Multiple Man on our next card play. Can we utilize the Zola that we got from the hub? I really don't think so. We might. There could be a very interesting situation if we found a Vulture very soon here. We would have been able to build potentially an enormous Vulture, and then have the Zola hit the Vulture, because he can scale to be very formidable in and of himself. All these rocks are really slowing us down. Movement is a complex combo deck. Let's go with, do we lean into Hala? Sure, let's lean into Hala. We're gonna play it to the hilt. We don't actually want to play the rocks, because if we start clogging up our board, losing that precious board space, then it's going to be very hard for us to have the openings for our movement engine cards to bounce around, and that's what they have to have to be able to make any progress up against the opponent. We'll go with Killmonger here. It's not great, but we've got to try and protect the multiple man. Are we going to pull it off? I'm playing the rock just to be able to get it out of hand and also destroy it here. So we're going to pop the opponent's Nova, their rocket as well, their Nightcrawler as well. Okay, hang on. You're saying there's a chance? This is where Killmonger is so incredibly powerful. Look at this. They invested into an enormous Angela. They played the rocket, the Korg, the Nightcrawler. None of it matters. None of it matters. They lost the Nova. They're going to have absolutely nothing on board after this. We snap, baby. Killmonger can single-handedly keep you in these games. There we go. There we go. Victory. All right, obviously that last game doesn't really show what the deck is capable of, so into the next one here. We have Kiln. We love locations like Kiln because with the movement deck, we're still going to be able to get into that location even after it locks down. And Kunlun, this is the movement deck's dream. Let's see. Let's play the Iron Fist. We'd also love to be able to get the Killmonger, kill the Sunspot. Sunspot, the most popular one-drop in the game. But here what we're looking at is having the Iron Fist be able to punch a card. If we draw Multiple Man, then so be it. The way that it would work with Kunlun is that Multiple Man would get played, then Iron Fist would punch him to the left, he would get buffed up to 5 strength, and then the 5 strength would be what is copied back to the former location. So very powerful combo there, of course. Let's go Vulture here to get the punch and then the +5. And then we're going to be looking at comboing Doctor Strange to move it yet again. Let's see, Cloak to move it yet again, and the Killmonger to finish off the Sunspot at the end of things. I really like how things are lining up right now. Now, of course, our plan can change dramatically, but we'll see here. They have a lot of scaling potential here off the Sunspot and the Bishop. Let's see, let's go... Hang on. I do want to play Angela and Cloak. Yeah, let's go there. Playing into Necrotia, not my favorite because of the neg2, but you gotta deal with the locations that you're dealt. And we need to keep on bouncing Cloak or Vulture around, I'm sorry. We could have played Cloak on left at Kiln and been able to pull the Vulture down there, had the +4 strength on that Cloak at Kiln. Maybe that would have functioned a little better, but we do find the Heimdall here. And we have to make a very sticky decision. Wow, what do we want to play? Because I would love that Vulture to continue scaling, but I also really want that Killmonger to blow up their Sunspot. It's also going to blow up our Nova and Iron Fist. But then on the final turn, we have the Heimdall to be able to rush in and rescue the location with the enormous Vulture. It feels like it could be enough. Interesting, interesting. Sad that we never found the Multiple Man. He would have fit in so beautifully here on turn 5. The movement deck list has a very low energy curve, except for the Heimdall. You have this big 6-drop, and then you have all these other cheap cards because they have to combo together to have good value. I am going to say that the Killmonger is better. I'm getting the distributed buffs off the Nova. I'm killing their Sunspot, which seems to have been part of their primary game plan. They show Sera. They're going to have an enormous final turn here. Alright. So, you might be saying, well, you killed 4 strength on your side and 4 strength on the opponent's side. Sure, sure. But we also have the Killmonger body of +3, and we got the distributed buffs out of the Nova. So I feel like it's still worth it. Heimdall comes in, is going to send the Vulture across, bring over the Angela, Cloak, and the Green Goblin. And then Killmonger is going to remain at Necrotia. Not going to snap, but I feel pretty happy with how this piloted out, even though we never found the Multiple Man. What's the opponent going to play? I mean, with Sera, they have this whole myriad of options available to them. 3 cards is what they have come up with. Sera is discounting every card in their hand by 1. What is the plan? We gain all the buffs from Kunlun as well. Maximus jumping in here, giving us card draw. Dracula appears, and then... What? Carnage is going to eat the Sera. The opponent has given up? And then the Dracula eats the Nova? Let's go! Well, the opponent's deck just rolled over and died, but I love the combo we were able to pull off on our side of the board. Pool 3 comes a-calling, and the upgrade is real simple. You drop the Angela, you add the dagger. Yes, You can do some other shenanigans with bringing in the Human Torch, who's a 1-drop who doubles his strength every time he moves. Let's go ahead and break him down just for the sake of conversation. When Human Torch moves, double its power. So he is also an excellent receptacle of the buffs of either Forge or Hulkbuster to be able to pop off. Very similar, synergizing beautifully with the Multiple Man, but he can just get destroyed by an Elektra or an opponent's Killmonger, so he's very vulnerable. Dagger, however, is not that vulnerable. When this moves to a location, +2 power for each card your opponent has played there. So she's able to scale up at 2 strength. She's able to be immune to potential, some of the destruction effects in the game, and she just gives us a more reliable suite of cards that are able to synergize with our movement activating cards. So I think that she is a little bit better than Angela, and she can still come in here and plug in very nicely. Nidavellir. Fun to be able to play around. Okay, let's play the Forge. And we could play the Vulture to be able to gain the buff. Honestly, we could put it on anybody. I absolutely love the adaptation here with Killmonger. The rest of the deck's going to play extremely similarly to the Pool 2 version of the deck. This is where I'm saying that in Pool 3, the movement deck doesn't really upgrade. It just doesn't get nearly as many of the toys as the other decks at this era receive. Let's get the Vulture in. It's about time to start bouncing him around. We'll see what the opponent plays. I'd love it if they flooded the board with some 1-drops, then I come in with the Killmonger and blow them away. The Killmonger is excellent because he's also going to be able to clear away the pesky critters like the squirrels and the raptors that locations are going to spit out, trying to choke off parts of the board where your movement cards need the open space to be able to get around and distribute their buffs. We're going to go Cloak here, bring Vulture and Multiple Man over. Multiple Man will copy himself. We can then go Doctor Strange to move the Vulture yet again, and then we can throw Heimdall down as the finisher, which is about the best curve line that we can find here for the movement deck, other than being able to actually get the buff of the Forge onto the Multiple Man, because he makes better use of it than the Vulture here. Don't ask what the opponent is doing. Oh, wait. Yes, of course. They wanted to destroy Bucky. I was looking at Bucky with the 6 strength because Winter Soldier is normally 6 strength, but he was receiving the buff from Nidavellir. Obviously, the opponent wanted to play it out this way. Interesting. We can go Vulture, Multiple Man. But hang on now. I could play Nova, Killmonger to be able to pop the Nova and get the buffs. So that would be able to put 5 strength across the board and then also be a 5 strength Killmonger. Alternatively, I play the Doctor Strange, which will pull the Vulture. No, it's actually going to pull Cloak. Cloak? No, it won't, because the Vulture is going to go over and get buffs. Okay, Doctor Strange will pull the Vulture, but that's only going to buff it by 5, and then Doctor Strange is 3 strength himself. The opponent flips first. Maybe they'll play a 1-drop that Killmonger will be able to get rid of. I mean, it's probably, if it was in the self-destruction world, it will be something like a Deadpool, which actually makes him stronger. But that's neither here nor there. And then with the Heimdall, we'll actually be able to get out of Nidavellir, which looks like a bit of a losing battle with how many pieces they've been able to toss down. Are we going to be able to surmount something scary like a death? Oh no, you had the Professor X to lock me in place? Why? It's actually bad for them, though, because we get the Nova and the Killmonger here, which is just big enough to be able to pass them up. Wow. That was great. Okay. So now we've got a couple options. I can only choose to pull the Vulture with Doctor Strange and Hulkbuster. The Strange plus Hulkbuster is 7 points in and of itself. It's going to pull the Vulture into Lechigilia, losing 17 points here. 42 minus 17 is taking us down to 25, which is a losing stat line. All right, so we got to go Heimdall. Bring them all. So that will leave the Multiple Man, but we pull everybody else. Give the opponent the GGs. The Professor X, they thought they were being sneaky, but that was exactly where we wanted to play. Professor X, it tilts one player or the other. It can either be the person who plays it or the person who got trapped. Daredevil Warpath is not good enough. It's not good enough. There we go. Movement takes the win. Here is our beautiful movement deck. Oh, Heimdall, I absolutely love bouncing in and doing a little bit of movement. It is, as I said at the beginning, so satisfying to be able to win with because you really felt like you tactically outthought your opponent, The combos are so complex and you're looking ahead at where cards are going to be, how large they're going to buff if you're able to dodge where the opponent is putting a lot of power. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see more movement specifically as just gameplay on how to combo things together, and if you guys have been enjoying the series of deck guides that have been coming out so far. Till next time, thank you guys for watching and keep on snapping.